Let's start with Lennon-McCartney and just think about in terms of a song for a moment, okay? So when we talk about a composition, what we're talking about is what John and Paul wrote, okay? So if they sit in their basement, they write a song, that's the composition. When we're talking about publishing, what we're really talking about are the copyrights that attach to a musical composition, okay? So this is the first part of the equation that everybody really has to understand. So when people are talking about publishing, they're talking about the musical composition, nothing to do with the recording, okay? It's all about this. On the other side, you've got the Beatles. And this is the master recording. Now, as you guys know, you can take a Lennon-McCartney composition and anybody can record it and create a master recording. Just because the Beatles did it, it's almost inconsequential. Anybody can record that composition and create their own master recording. So whenever you think about music rights, you always have to automatically think about these two sides of the coin. The composition itself, think of this as like a screenplay. Think of that as the finished film. Okay? So anybody can take a screenplay and make a movie. Anybody can take a composition and make a recording. So when we talk about publishing, we're really talking about the copyrights that attach to the composition, as I've said. And what are those copyrights? Well, they branch out. There's public performance, performance. There's mechanical reproduction. There's synchronization. And then there's, let's just say other. These are all copyrights that relate to the publishing. So when we talk about publishing, it's an umbrella for all those various things, okay? And we're going to talk about what each one of these things means and how they function. So public performance of a composition, what happens is Lennon-McCartney sign with a performing rights society. Everybody does who makes music. They do, and their publishers do. They sign with SOCAN if they're in Canada. Anything that's publicly performed on radio, on TV, in movie theaters, in concert halls, there's a royalty paid to the publisher and to the writers for public performance of the music. It's administered by SOCAN. SOCAN has a tariff that's paid by this very building, okay? This building has to pay based on the size of the room, what the capacity is, etc., etc. Music cue sheets are sent in. We're going to go over that too. And these public performance royalties are paid. So SOCAN pays the publisher and pays the writers. Okay? Mechanical reproduction, which we're calling less and less these days mechanical, we're just calling it reproduction, is if you're making, for instance, CDs, that's mechanical reproduction, or vinyl records. If it's on iTunes, it's a digital reproduction. So to be able to reproduce copies of the composition, remember, I am not talking about masters at all. I'm just talking about composition. To sell copies of that or make copies of that, there's a mechanical or reproduction royalty that's paid to the publisher, okay? So that's on audio only, although it could be on a DVD as well. Synchronization is putting together music with visual images, any visual images. It could be a television commercial, it could be a film, it can be a television show. As soon as you take music and put it with visuals, you need a synchronization license from the publisher. it's one of the copyrights that falls under publishing rights. So you have to go and get a license from the publisher to do synchronization of a composition. I am not talking about that. Other might be use of lyrics in a greeting card or something. It could be anything. People like to do certain things with songs. I have lots of war stories about that and how things can go wrong when people are borrowing little snippets of songs. For instance, you have an actor walking down a street in a movie who starts quoting song lyrics, you know? Let me take you down because I'm going to Strawberry Fields. Well, guess what? You just used the lyrics. And guess what? You need a synchronization license for that. So some filmmakers don't understand that. They also think that people can hum the song and it's okay. Actually, all you can do is refer to it by title. If I have a song and I've got a different version of it, I'm going to hire somebody to record a version of one of their songs. All I need is a sync license and whatever rights I need from the people that re-recorded it. So if it could be like my score composer or somebody like that who for whatever reason does a cover version of a song, I'm probably going to have that covered in my composer deal, but I'm going to need a sync license still for the composition. If the composition's being used, it doesn't matter if it's being chopped up, edited, a remixed version, a redone version, anything. If you're using any portion of a composition, and there's a lot of rumors that have gone around the industry for years where people think they can use 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 12, it's all crap. Okay, you can't use any of it. There might be a fair dealing or fair use argument, maybe in certain contexts, but in a commercial film, it really does not apply. You don't want to be playing those games. And even if you can get away with it, what you don't want to have to deal with is a claim from anybody, especially where you won't get covered by your E&O insurance because you didn't have a clearance.